My name is Kay Burns and I was born in the Old Infirmary Hospital in Priory Street on the 2nd of October 1948. My mother was in labour for 48 hours, so unfortunately I didn't come as an easy child birth. Unfortunately, I wasn't to be taken home. I was to be put in an incubator, and I had to be there for a couple of weeks or more. So my mother had to go home and have no baby, and with the pram and everything, but feeling distorted. And she used to come to visit me every day. And when it was time for me to go home, I was told I was the perfect baby. I suffered with cerebral palsy, and which I can't say correctly. So I went to Great Ormond Street, and they had to assess me of what I was able to do and not. And at the time I was totally in Welsh speaking, so, and none of them spoke Welsh, and when they were asking me questions, I simply didn't know what they were talking about because I didn't know. And so then my mother and I concentrated on the English then, so to help them along. And I forgot the Welsh. I understand it, I can speak a little, but I not very fluently. And I used to have to wear a boot, an iron cast boot that was being put on my leg when I was to go to bed every night. And then sometimes in the day, walking around, I'd be hobbling, but I was enjoying myself because I didn't know any different. So I was given exercises to do, and which I was determined to do, but it took a lot of time, but I was definitely wanting to conquer it. And I used to go then to once a fortnight to the physiotherapy to have exercises and to improve my walking and balance. And I had to have my shoes raised up to throw me over because of the disability. And then I had a bike from that I learned to ride, and even to the day that I was in work and things, it came handy. And I used to go on a horse, which was Topsy, and I used to go for balancing, and so I was taking it, or she was taking me for the walk, and the dog and the cat and things. And then I used to go for ballet classes for exercises there. I had a piano which I was playing for half an hour every day with my to improve my fingers. So I was determined that everything I challenged, I was going to conquer. When leaving school, I was in a shop that Timothy Williams, and they had a kitchenware shop. So I was able to sell the things. I used to order and clean the place, so, and the shelves and things. So it was my little shop. But unfortunately then I got redundant. So from there then I went to Port Albert. It was a rehabilitation centre and a new thing. So, and we were only 3 girls and the rest were all men. So we were the guinea pigs. I lived then down in Port Albert, and I befriended 2 girls. So we used to go out and they used to show me the town and things, and I used to go to the Avon Lido swimming pool. So I learned how to swim, and I could swim better under the water than on top. But and I enjoy swimming and floating and things. But as long as when I get up, as long as I touch the floor, I'm quite happy. And after then, they assessed me then as a telephonist, because and they also said I had to have another backup as well, because there weren't many opportunities only for telephonists, so they put me for typing as well. I went to the Technical College in Ammanford, where I simply learned how to do typing. I went then to a factory then in Ambrosia Cream Rice Factory, and I was on the switchboard, and then we could sample a little bit of the rice pudding, but which was a very good experience. And when I came back then, I was able to apply for the County Hall telephonist, and I was there then with County Council for 32 years, and from being in the main switchboard, I was also a switchboard operator in planning at 40 Spilman Street with Mr. Randall, the planning officer, and I was there for another 13 years with them. Towards the end then, I was getting tired in going and coming back, and they suggested me that I would take early retirement. I didn't like to, but they thought it would have been better for me. So then, which I did, and looking back, I'm glad now, because if I knew, I would have done it a bit sooner. I learned to drive a car, but I had to change for an automatic after passing thing, because I used to, with the gear stick, ram it in, and with the automatic, it was like riding on the bumpers without bumping. So everything in my situation, I've conquered it, and if there's something I can't do, I've got to find a way in doing it. And I think that's what people nowadays, they give up too easily. And you know, you get your good days, you get your bad days, but you've got to persevere. And when you've done it, the reward you'll be rewarded in yourself. But of course, it's all to do with mind and matter. You've got to do it. Nobody else will. Everybody will teach you and show you, but it's up to you.